doing well today or tonight. Tonight's video is going to be a storytelling video. I'm pretty excited for it. I feel like a majority of my videos are me telling stories and whatnot, but it's usually shorter ones, and kind of more sporadic stories. But this whole video is gonna be one single story. I've been getting a lot of requests for more stubble rubbing sounds or beard scratching sounds. So I'm going to be doing that throughout the video as well. Sorry, got a hair in my mouth. What a great start to the video. Anyhow, where should I even begin on this story? I'm gonna set it up a little bit. I think we're not gonna get right into the meat and potatoes right off the bat. So we'll start like this. So, when I was a younger kid, or when I was a kid, not a kid anymore, when I was a kid, I was probably 15 or 16 when this happened, because my cousin, who is slightly older than me, had just got his driver's license. So, yeah, I think I was 15. That would make sense. And, when I was that age, I would go to Idaho and visit my grandparents for the whole summer. I would usually spend usually the whole summer, but sometimes cut it slightly short and end up only staying like 2 of the 3 months, maybe. So, as usual, I was up in Idaho, but this year, one of my cousins, or rather my uncle and aunt and uncle, had bought a cabin up in the mountains in Idaho. And they had just finished closing on it and, doing all the paperwork and whatnot. And they wanted to go up and see it, of course, and spend some time. However, I couldn't go that night. So, me and my cousin, we went up and in their stead to kind of help get things set up. And, that first night we had gotten, they had a little tiny, mountain convenience / grocery store up there. It was really small and super, super expensive because it was so far out of the way. So we drove up and we got to the store, and I remember we bought like a frozen pizza and then some other unhealthy snacks to go with it because we're teenage boys. We're not gonna make healthy food. We're gonna eat pizza and drink soda and whatnot. I should also mention the drive up. This first drive up me and him made has a completely separate story that I might tell another time. It is incredibly embarrassing and also a little gross. So I don't know if we'll ever, I don't know, I don't want to gross anybody out. But maybe. Let me know if you'd like to hear that story. So this takes place after those events that shall not be named currently. So we made it into town and we get our pizza and our snacks and what have you, our drinks. And we make it to the cabin. Now, he's seen it before. You know, he was there with them while they were looking at it and thinking about buying it and whatnot. This is the first time that I'd ever been up there. And it was amazing. It's a really small little cabin. You know, it has like 2 rooms in it, which is really tiny, but it's on the edge of a lake, and just a beautiful view. And yeah, I mean, I'd never seen anything like that before, so I was super excited. And he had already, I mean, it was kind of set up a little bit by the previous owner. You know, there's a small shed on the property. They'd already chopped some firewood and things like that. But I mean, it was pretty overrun with a lot of bushes and just foliage in general. But still, nonetheless, it was a beautiful place. So you know, we got there and unpacked our stuff, and he starts we're pretty hungry. It was like a 2 or 3 hour drive from his house. So we're pretty hungry, and so he's like, well, hey, I'll pop the pizza in the oven and then we'll eat when it's done. Now, at the time, whenever I made a frozen pizza, I would put it onto a pizza stone. You know, you put the pizza stone in the oven, and you put the pizza on the stone. That's how I've always done it my entire life. Well, he didn't bring a pizza stone with him. It's our first time up there, so we don't really have a lot of kitchen utensils. And so I mean, he just puts it right on the rack. You know, there's no stone or anything. He just puts the pizza directly into the oven. And I stop him. I go, well, hey, you know, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm cooking the pizza. And I was like, well, you gotta put it on something. You know, if you just put it in there, it's gonna cause a mess. And he goes, no, I always make them this way all the time. And I was like, really? I've never done that before. He goes, oh yeah, all the time. I said, alright, you know, I trust you. And he even shows me the box. And even on the box, you know, it has 2 different methods. It's got one with a stone, and then one directly on the rack. And I was like, oh, hey, I eat my words, you know. Cool. Sounds good then. So he, you know, closes the oven and puts the timer on, and there's a small little TV in the cabin, and so we didn't have like cable up there, but he did bring like an HDMI cable and plugged his laptop in. And I can't remember if he's using like a mobile hotspot or if they already had Wi-Fi, ready up there. I don't quite remember, but either way, he said, "Well, hey, what do you want to watch?" And I wasn't picky. I was just kind of whatever's clever, And he goes, "Well, hey, I've been watching this one show recently. I think it's pretty funny. Me and him have very similar kinds of humor." So he's like, I think you'll really like it. I said, "Yeah, let's do that, So he put on the Eric Andre show. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Eric Andre show, or Eric Andre as a person, it's like technically it's an interview late night show, except it is super messed up and weird. He just does like really stupid, crazy things to these poor people he's interviewing. Really funny. Definitely pretty raunchy humor. Not for everybody, but me and him were just laughing like crazy. We loved it. We're having a great time. And we watch an episode, and then I remember we're sitting there watching, and we're going like, it smells kind of funny in here right now. Didn't think. Excuse me. Sorry. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Totally forgot about the pizza. So we watch another episode, and finally the timer goes off. And so hey, we're like, oh, pizza's ready. But again, now I'm like thinking back, like, oh no, something smells like funny in like a burnt kind of way. And but I'm like, there's no way that it's burnt. I mean, we put it in the proper amount of time, and it's not a problem. Well, he opens the oven up, and I mean, the pizza was like drooping down through the rack. The oven has like the grating, the grated racks. And like that across the edge of the pizza was on top of the rack. The center of the pizza was just dripping through it. And like it was like pizza goo, just going down and obviously landing on the bottom of the oven and then burning. And yeah, it was a huge mess. And no harm done. We got it cleaned up and it was fine, but obviously couldn't eat the pizza. I think we just kind of went off snacks the rest of the time, that night, and then we went back into town the next day and grabbed some more food. And also the next, we added that to the list of things that needed to be brought up to the cabin, So, over the next couple years, right, they kind of slowly upgrade the cabin, and every summer that I'm down there, of course I go visit and spend time up there with them. And, yeah, just more and more stuff gets added. Kitchen utensils being one of them. But, they got, again, it's lakeside, so they have a little dock. They got a few boats up there, and, really clean the place up nice, a couple of fixes and renovations, and they cleaned up all the unkempt land, did a lot of landscaping up there, and really made it quite nice. After a while, they decided to build another cabin on the land. Cabin isn't really a great term for it. They basically have the cabin on the lakefront, and then farther back on the property, they had, it looks like a modern home, not really a cabin. And so they were building that, and, more time goes by, and eventually I went to visit again, and that was finished. And, that brings us to where the proper part of this story kind of takes place. So, they had just finished pretty much all the renovations they had planned to do ever. They pretty much accomplished what they had set out to do and made this beautiful, beautiful place. Just gorgeous, and they really put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was fantastic. And they had everything that they really wanted up there, except for jet skis. They've always wanted to have jet skis, and they just never got around to getting one. And finally, they decided to go for it, and they got 2 jet skis. It was kind of a surprise because my uncle, during that very trip, kept saying, I've wanted to get jet skis, but I don't know if I'm ever going to. And then, like an hour after that, jet skis arrived on the property. So, he knew what he was doing. It was a surprise for, his family. And, I say his family like I'm not family, but I don't live there with them, It was for more surprise from my cousin. Anyhow. So, these jet skis show up, and I don't know the brand or the name of them, but they were very nice jet skis, and they were fast. They were really, really quick. They weren't the ones that you stand on. They were sitting jet skis, and really, really nice. And my uncle gets them all set up and on the docks and whatnot, and people are all excited and taking turns going out on them and all that stuff. Sorry for my voice, by the way. Did a lot of talking today. I'm a little hoarse. I apologize. But anyhow, eventually everyone kind of gets a turn on them, and it's a good time. Everyone's having fun. Now, we were there on that trip for up at the cabin, I should say, for probably 2 or 3 weeks, I want to say. It was a long time. And, of course, no one was bored of them, but as we got farther and farther into the trip, the excitement and the demand for the jet skis went down quite a bit. So, me and my cousin were the ones who were using them the most. Everyone else wanted to go swim or, go tubing behind a boat, things of that nature. But me and my cousin wanted to ride the jet skis. So that's what we would do. Now, we got pretty good at it, you know, or not good, but comfortable riding them. And yeah, again, they were very fast. I don't remember the exact speed that they got to, but it was quick. And what we would do, we would wake jump on them. So we would wait for a bunch of speedboats to go by, and then we would hop their wake. You know, you'd face it head on. You'd really throttle it and go flying over. And so we were doing that for days and days in a row. Super fun time. And kind of to set up and give you a picture of where this is going, we always wore life jackets, of course. Really big, heavy ones. So, I mean, you could hit the water hard and you're pretty much right back to the surface instantly. It's almost impossible to go underwater in those things. It's nuts. And then the key to the jet ski is attached to like